Well, Hugh Jackman has just spoken out, sort of, and he's 100% behind Blake and Ryan. We've got to get into the details.
Hugh Jackman is 100% on Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' side and can't wait to be deposed. Meanwhile, America Ferrera?
Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give them that?
In the wake of a shocking lawsuit filed by actor and filmmaker Justin Baldoni, Hollywood has been left stunned by deeply disturbing accusations involving some of its biggest stars, including Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. What began as quiet whispers about creative clashes and on-set disagreements quickly exploded into a full-blown legal storm. Baldoni now accuses Lively and Reynolds of defamation, spreading false allegations of sexual misconduct, and actively trying to destroy his professional reputation through calculated manipulation. Caught in the middle of the chaos is Hugh Jackman, visibly frustrated but left with no real choice. Reynolds had already seized complete creative control of the film. Jackman and Reynolds were once seen as Hollywood's most beloved odd couple, two A-listers with undeniable chemistry locked in a never-ending, hilarious feud that delighted fans worldwide. Whether roasting each other online, exchanging jabs during interviews, or teaming up for hits like Deadpool and Wolverine, their bromance appeared bulletproof. But now, that glossy image is rapidly falling apart. Jackman isn't laughing anymore. He's gearing up to speak, and what he's ready to reveal could shake Ryan Reynolds' empire to its core. He's been around Reynolds for years, and what once seemed playful might now be part of a legal obligation. Their seemingly effortless banter, once praised as pure gold, funny, light, and brotherly, was reportedly anything but. Insiders now claim it was all a carefully staged act. Behind closed doors, Jackman had allegedly grown exhausted with Reynolds' constant antics, which insiders say weren't so harmless after all. The tipping point came sooner than most expected, but apparently the damage had been building for a long time. This toxic cycle, sources say, isn't new. It's been Reynolds' playbook for years. Those close to Jackman say the public feud was never truly playful. What fans interpreted as lighthearted teasing, Jackman allegedly experienced as calculated control. Reynolds, ever the charismatic showman, always managed to keep the spotlight on himself, and he made sure Jackman stayed just enough in the background to look like the good-natured sidekick. Whether during press junkets, behind-the-scenes shoots, or major events, Reynolds allegedly structured each moment to work in his favor, leaving Jackman stuck playing the role of the grinning, agreeable co-star.
Frustrated, but they had no choice but to comply because Reynolds had already taken full control of the movie.
One of the most uncomfortable and telling moments came during a press event when Ryan Reynolds used the spotlight to publicly humiliate actor-director Justin Baldoni in front of cameras and reporters. According to sources, Hugh Jackman was pressured behind the scenes to play along with the so-called joke, despite clearly being uncomfortable. The entire skit clashed with Jackman's core values. He's always been someone who believes in lifting others up, not putting them down just for a cheap laugh or viral moment. Witnesses say the moment was deeply unsettling for him, and that forced smile he wore didn't fool those who know him well. That incident didn't just sting, it reportedly left Jackman shaken, disappointed, and more than a little disillusioned. It marked a serious turning point in their relationship, where friendly rivalry turned into something far more complicated. Insiders say that after that day, Jackman began quietly distancing himself from Reynolds, realizing that their public banter might be more harmful than harmless. That press moment, meant to entertain, ended up revealing cracks that had long been forming behind the scenes.
Been around Ryan for years, and now he might be legally obligated.
Reynolds and Lively, as a power couple, were no strangers to control. But it was Reynolds who truly thrived on having the upper hand, both on set and behind the scenes. He allegedly manipulated situations to his advantage, micromanaged cast dynamics, and ensured that anyone who dared to challenge his spotlight was quietly sidelined. Multiple insiders say he carefully curated every interaction to protect his image and influence. Even Hugh Jackman, a massive star with decades of experience and fan love, reportedly found himself consistently boxed in by the overwhelming force of Reynolds' well-oiled charisma machine. It was like being stuck in someone else's show, no matter how famous you were.
There's livelihoods to feel important. But guys, this toxic pattern didn't just start recently. Apparently, it's been Ryan's MO for
He stayed quiet for years. Some say it was out of professional courtesy, a choice made to keep the peace behind the scenes. Others believe his silence was a deliberate move to protect Reynolds' carefully crafted image and avoid stirring up unwanted headlines. But now, with tensions reaching a breaking point and the public finally catching glimpses of what's been simmering underneath, that long-standing silence may finally be coming to an end. And if Jackman truly decides to speak, his truth, it could send shockwaves through Hollywood and change the narrative in ways no one expected.
If the nice pool character was meant to mock Baldoni, then it's safe to say that everyone on set knew it. So Hugh was forced to participate in what was essentially workplace bullying disguised as comedy.
The situation took an unexpected and shocking turn when Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. The entertainment industry was left stunned by the bold move, but the drama didn't stop there. Things escalated rapidly when Baldoni fired back with a massive $400 million defamation countersuit aimed at both Lively and Reynolds. In his response, Baldoni accused the Hollywood power couple of launching a calculated and malicious smear campaign designed to destroy his career, reputation, and personal life. And caught in the middle of this chaotic legal storm was none other than Hugh Jackman, now facing pressure from all sides and forced to confront years of behind-the-scenes tension that refused to stay buried.
Hugh was also pressured to attend the It Ends With Us premiere, a movie he had nothing to do with, just to show support for Reynolds and Lively. And while this was happening, Baldoni was reportedly being kept in the basement and forced to arrive early to avoid interaction with the Reynolds-Lively.
Hugh Jackman's connection to this escalating legal storm initially appeared to be nothing more than an unfortunate coincidence. He had been casually involved in promoting It Ends With Us, the very film now sitting at the heart of this explosive lawsuit. But things took an unexpected turn when Jackman was suddenly and formally deposed. The move shocked fans and industry insiders alike. Why would Hugh Jackman, the ever-charming and seemingly uninvolved actor, be dragged into such a serious scandal? What could he possibly know that made him relevant to this investigation? Then came the leaks. Text messages and conversations that changed everything. And now, the answer seems far from innocent. In a twist that blindsided nearly everyone, new reports are circulating that Jackman may have committed the ultimate betrayal. Whispers in elite Hollywood circles suggest he secretly passed along damaging and confidential information about Ryan Reynolds to the opposing legal team, shaking the foundation of their once iconic friendship.
Tortoise interference with contract and civil extortion goes well beyond the nice pool character and implies that a Lively Baldoni.
According to a newly leaked batch of text messages, the information shared was not only deeply personal, it was potentially career-ending. Insiders claim the content may include old, long-buried messages, private conversations, and even alleged proof of Ryan Reynolds' manipulative behavior when the cameras weren't rolling. This wasn't just throwaway tabloid material or idle gossip. It was the kind of revelation that could seriously damage, if not completely shatter, the carefully polished and tightly managed public image Reynolds has spent years perfecting. His crafted persona, built on charm and wit, may now be hanging in the balance as these accusations continue to unfold with shocking intensity. Part.
Wolverine will be deposed, and I suspect that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
With years of experience working alongside Reynolds and personal connections to both parties, Hugh Jackman has now emerged as a crucial witness. Legal experts agree his upcoming testimony could be a game changer, potentially the key to uncovering who's truly telling the truth. Jackman was reportedly present during several behind-the-scenes gatherings where tensions between Reynolds and Baldoni reached a breaking point. Even more significantly, he may have witnessed firsthand just how far Reynolds was allegedly willing to go to maintain his polished public image and, if necessary, tear down someone else's in the process. For over 10 years, Hugh Jackman was known as Ryan Reynolds' unofficial sidekick, the charming, good-natured foil in their hilarious public bromance. But those days, they're officially over. Sources close to Jackman reveal he's pulled away completely. No more playful jabs, no more staged feuds, and definitely no more quiet loyalty. And that, folks, is terrifying news for Reynolds. Because if there's one person who could tear down the carefully polished charm Reynolds projects, it's Hugh Jackman. During the development and promotion of It Ends With Us, a drama that actor-director Justin Baldoni poured his heart into, things started shifting. Baldoni, often praised as a feminist and advocate for women, suddenly found himself caught in the center of a media firestorm. While Marvel and Disney chose to stay silent, Baldoni's shocking lawsuit exploded across. Headlines reading like a real-life Hollywood nightmare. According to his claims, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds orchestrated a deliberate, calculated plan to wreck his reputation, painting him as a predator, not a professional. At the center of the accusations, allegedly inappropriate comments Baldoni supposedly made about Blake's weight and sexually suggestive remarks during meetings. But Baldoni has denied every bit of it, insisting either things were taken wildly out of context or they never even happened to begin with. If he really did all of this, one person asked, why was it never mentioned earlier? And here's where things get truly bizarre. Nobody ever expected a parody superhero, yes, a fictional, wisecracking character, to suddenly become a key figure in this real-world legal drama, but somewhere between satire and scandal, the lines blurred. As the legal team dug into the allegations tied to It Ends With Us, they stumbled upon something strange and unsettling. One of Reynolds' lesser-known characters started raising eyebrows. This caped, sarcastic hero was famous for crude jokes, uncomfortable timing, and boundary-pushing behavior. At first, it seemed like nothing more than edgy humor. But then, people started connecting the dots. The expressions, the body language, even the punchlines. Everything started to eerily mirror rumors circulating behind the scenes. Critics and fans alike began asking the uncomfortable question, was this character actually based on someone real? Maybe someone on set. One line in particular went viral. Yeah, they're crazy. They'll chop you into 1,000 pieces and hide you all over the void. But my real dream? Hosting a podcast that profits off the women's movement. Suddenly, that didn't sound like satire. It sounded personal. Disturbingly so. As Reddit threads and interview clips got picked apart, a darker picture formed. Certain scenes, once laughed off, started hitting differently. Some jokes about gender roles, about dominance, about female empowerment. Now they feel like a mirror reflecting the very accusations Baldoni is fighting against. And here's the wildest part. Insiders say similar comments were made off-camera during actual rehearsals with Blake Lively. As one anonymous source put it, they want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? That genie isn't going quietly. But here's the thing, they want to put the genie back in the bottle. The problem? That genie is done playing nice. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds built their image as Hollywood's golden couple. Witty, charming, picture perfect. But that's exactly what makes this story so disturbing. According to the lawsuit, this wasn't just a private disagreement gone too far. This was a deliberate, high-powered campaign of defamation, engineered by two of the industry's biggest stars. Armed with fame, influence, and a far-reaching PR machine, the couple allegedly spread damaging claims about Justin Baldoni across every corner of the industry. Stories whispered behind closed doors began to poison conversations in boardrooms, casting rooms and red carpets. Before Baldoni could even defend himself, his name was tainted, his career on life support. And why? Over creative differences, insiders claim Blake Lively didn't have to go this far. But in her mind, some say narcissistic, others say ruthlessly strategic, this was the play. Not a misunderstanding, not a moment of anger, a calculated character assassination. And tragically, it worked. The lawsuit paints a picture of a man watching his career unravel in slow motion. Once respected, now scandalized, reduced to rumors, headlines, and side-eyes in every room he walks into. And now, Baldoni is fighting back, seeking over $400 million in damages for the emotional and professional wreckage he says was caused by this couple. But then came the twist no one expected. Baldoni's legal team dropped a bombshell. They claim Ryan Reynolds retaliated in the pettiest and most public way possible by creating a brand new parody character for Deadpool and Wolverine. His name? Nice Pool. A snide, barely veiled jab allegedly aimed straight at Baldoni. If that's true, it means Reynolds didn't just try to destroy Baldoni's name in backrooms. He mocked him in theaters, on the world stage. And now, all eyes are on Hugh Jackman, because Jackman's deposition could change everything. Did Reynolds run this parody by him during production? Was Jackman in on the joke, or just a bystander forced to go along? Insiders say Jackman's been keeping his distance, refusing to back Reynolds publicly and quietly cooperating with both. Legal teams. The former best friend? He's gone. The loyal sidekick? Done playing that role. Enough of the manipulation. Enough of being used to support someone else's brand. Jackman is reportedly ready to speak, not as Reynolds' friend, but as a man who's seen too much, stayed silent too long, and might finally be ready to tell the truth. For years, Ryan Reynolds built a flawless image. He was the funny guy, the charming guy, the guy everyone loved. But now, with Jackman stepping out of the shadows, that image is in serious jeopardy. The lawsuit is heating up. The public is watching. And Hugh Jackman, he's no longer protecting anyone. In case you missed it, Jackman recently divorced his wife of 27 years, Deborah Lee Furness. After nearly 3 decades, the separation came as a shock to fans. It was presented as amicable, sure. But the timing, just as whispers about his personal life and inner circle began to grow louder, it raised questions. Was there more to this story than anyone realized? Was Jackman's marriage another casualty in a much larger unraveling? One that began in the shadows of Hollywood and is now playing out in full public view? Some say his Broadway co-star Sutton Foster might be a piece of that puzzle. Others insist it's all connected, one domino falling after the next. But one thing's for sure, the bromance is dead, and in its place, a scandal is unfolding that could change careers, reputations, and friendships forever. Is the bond between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds truly genuine, or just another polished product of Hollywood's PR machine? For over a decade, their so-called bromance was a staple of celebrity culture. Fans swooned over their witty banter, playful jabs, and red carpet chemistry. But behind the jokes, the question always lingered. Was this just entertainment, or something more complex? Was it real friendship, or another curated illusion designed to please the masses? Now, as Jackman navigates life after a 27-year marriage, the cracks in that Hollywood fantasy are starting to show. Sources close to the actor suggest that his recent moves may be about more than just heartbreak. He's not just walking away from a long-term relationship, he may be walking away from Ryan Reynolds. The timing is hard to ignore. With his marriage behind him, Jackman seems increasingly distant from Reynolds. No more cheeky Instagram posts, no more public jokes, no more red carpet bromance. Could this be a symbolic shift? A quiet rebellion against a carefully curated friendship that, for better or worse, defined much of Jackman's public persona? Some insiders think so. They suggest Jackman may have tolerated Reynolds' allegedly domineering behavior for years, playing the good friend to maintain a popular narrative. But now, that script may finally be coming to an end, because Hollywood has always been a place where relationships are formed, shaped, and sold to fit the public's expectations. And Jackman, long plagued by whispers and speculation, particularly around his sexuality and personal life, might just be reclaiming his story. Let's be honest, the rumors have never stopped, from marrying a woman 13 years his senior to persistent. Tabloid gossip, Jackman's authenticity has often been questioned, fairly or not. And now, amid this chaos, a new chapter emerges. Enter Sutton Foster. Their sudden romance has captivated headlines, but not everyone is buying it. Is this love, or just another strategic distraction? A PR bandage over deeper wounds? Some speculate it's a classic Hollywood move, an attempt to pivot the spotlight, to shift the narrative away from the tension with Reynolds and the fallout of a long unraveling marriage. Is Foster a genuine new partner? Or a beard, as some skeptics claim? A stand-in to protect Jackman from relentless speculation? Meanwhile, on the other side of this crumbling dynamic, Ryan Reynolds is facing his own reckoning. The lawsuit involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is threatening to drag Reynolds deeper into the fire. And if Jackman turns on him now, if he publicly distances himself or cooperates with Baldoni's legal team, it could mean serious consequences. Is this Jackman trying to protect himself? Or is it revenge? Quiet, calculated revenge for a friendship that soured behind the scenes long before the cameras stopped rolling. Jackman stepping away now, at Reynolds' most vulnerable moment, sends a clear message: he's done playing along. Done pretending. Done being the sidekick in someone else's story. And Reynolds, he's not immune to the scrutiny either. For all his dad jokes and charm, rumors have long swirled about the reality of his marriage to Blake Lively. Sure, they sell the image of the perfect couple. Funny, devoted, Instagram-ready, but some insiders insist it's just that, an image. Behind closed doors, they say cracks have formed. Rumors of emotional distance, even whispers of an affair between Lively and Baldoni, have only added to the storm. Some even believe the alleged affair was a deliberate distraction, a smokescreen to pull attention away from Reynolds' own. Secrets? If true, it's a damning revelation. Because Ryan Reynolds has built a brand on being a relatable guy, the funny guy, the devoted husband and loving father. But as these allegations pile up and Jackman pulls away, the question becomes harder to ignore. Is the real Ryan Reynolds finally being revealed? The bromance may be over, the masks may be slipping. And the fallout? It's only just beginning. The whispers are growing louder. Speculation around Blake Lively's alleged emotional affair with Justin Baldoni is raising more than just eyebrows. It's raising serious questions. Could this rumored affair be more than just a moment of emotional vulnerability? Could it be part of a calculated Hollywood distraction? Some believe it is. Insiders suggest Lively's relationship with Baldoni may have been strategically orchestrated. A chiosao, diversion designed to protect Ryan Reynolds. From what exactly? Allegedly from his true self. The theory goes deeper, darker, that Lively, long admired as half of Hollywood's perfect couple, might actually be serving as a beard. A tenpa, term used to describe someone who enters a relationship to conceal their partner's sexuality. If this is true, then the very foundation of Reynolds and Lively's marriage, the one so many fans idolize, could be nothing more than a carefully constructed facade. And here's where the plot thickens. Jackman. Hugh Jackman. Recent developments suggest that Jackman wasn't just a passive observer in this twisted tale. According to some sources, he may have been pulling the strings behind the scenes, actively involved in the unfolding chaos. If that's true, it turns this entire saga into something far more explosive than anyone could have imagined. For years, fans have speculated about Jackman and Reynolds' unusually close relationship. Their endless banter, their staged feuds, their public adoration. It always felt a little too perfect, too scripted. Could there have been more going on beneath the surface? Was there a hidden dynamic between the two actors, one masked by comedy, camouflaged as bromance, and kept conveniently ambiguous to avoid scrutiny? Now, as Reynolds battles a lawsuit and Jackman considers breaking his silence, the truth may finally be within reach. Because if Jackman steps forward and testifies, he could blow the lid off everything. The real Ryan Reynolds, the real Hugh Jackman, and the very real possibility that their friendship wasn't what it seemed. And yet, in a strange twist, new reports suggest that Jackman may actually be supporting Reynolds and Lively after all. Yes, after all the speculation, after all the distancing, multiple sources claim Jackman is quietly backing the couple, standing behind them even as the scandal swirls. He's kept a low profile, no public statements, no press appearances. But behind the scenes, whispers say he's made his position clear. He's with Blake and Ryan. That quiet support has stunned many, especially as other celebrities, including America Ferrera, have distanced themselves from the controversy. Her deleted post about Jackman has only fueled more speculation. Why now? What changed? On the surface, Jackman remains silent, stoic. No public remarks about the lawsuit, no clarifications about his relationship with Reynolds, but his silence is deafening. And in Hollywood, silence often says more than words ever could. Is Jackman protecting someone, shielding himself? Or is he playing both sides in a scandal that threatens to upend careers and reputations? The stakes have never been higher. Reynolds isn't just an actor. He's a brand, a mogul, a man who mastered the art of public perception. But the same charisma that made him untouchable may now be his greatest liability. Because if Hugh Jackman speaks, truly speaks, the world may finally see the real Ryan Reynolds. And when that happens, Hollywood may never be the same. Far from being a passive bystander, Hugh Jackman has emerged as a shadowy pillar in a scandal that's threatening to shatter Hollywood's golden couple image. Industry insiders are now saying that Jackman's silence speaks volumes. Behind the scenes, his role has reportedly been far more significant than the public knows. As a longtime confidant of Ryan Reynolds and a trusted friend of Blake Lively, Jackman has allegedly been privy to some of the most sensitive discussions regarding the lawsuit, discussions that stretch back to the very beginning of the internal tensions on the film that started it all. He knew. He watched it unfold, and now he's being dragged into the fire. While publicly, Jackman has remained noticeably tight-lipped, his private loyalty to Reynolds and Lively has reportedly been unwavering. According to sources close to the matter, he's defending them to anyone who will listen. In his eyes, They're the victims, not the villains. But here's the question everyone's asking. If he's so sure of their innocence, why hasn't he stepped up publicly? In Hollywood, silence is rarely neutral. It's often strategic. And in this case, Jackman's carefully measured distance has left a bitter aftertaste for many in the industry. Because with his influence, his credibility, and his ability to shape the narrative, a single public statement from Jackman could have swayed opinion, could have calmed the chaos, but instead, he chose not to. And that decision is raising eyebrows. "Why aren't you on these streets?" one insider asked. "You seem to have a problem with people questioning Blake and Ryan, but you won't publicly defend them either. What's really going on here?" Even more troubling, some allege Jackman participated, whether knowingly or not, in the actions that led to Justin Baldoni's professional fallout. From the controversial Deadpool character parodying Baldoni to the creative decisions that sparked the original feud, the whispers suggest Jackman may have been more involved than he's willing to admit, and now he's agreed to be deposed. Yes, Hugh Jackman is willing to testify on behalf of Blake and Ryan, a move that shocks many. Because in an industry where neutrality is the safe route, stepping into the courtroom is a bold declaration of allegiance. But what does it say about Jackman himself? For years, he's been seen as Hollywood's moral compass, a man who avoided scandals, who treated others with dignity, who walked the high road when so many others stumbled. But in this case, some are starting to wonder, is he really the man we thought he was? His involvement, his defense of Lively and Reynolds, despite the gravity of the accusations, has many questioning if even Jackman, Hollywood's most beloved gentleman, is willing to sacrifice integrity for loyalty. Because make no mistake, this situation could have been handled differently. Blake Lively did not have to go after Justin Baldoni. And yet, in what some are calling a calculated narcissistic strategy, she allegedly did just that. And Hugh? He chose to back her. Even when the evidence began piling up, even when the accusations moved beyond simple creative disagreements to allegations of character assassination and career sabotage, he stood by her, quietly. But imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine a male producer making false accusations about a female actor. Would the industry remain this silent? Would someone like Jackman be so quick to back the accuser? The double standard is glaring. The silence, deafening. And in that silence, a question echoes. What is Hugh Jackman protecting? His friends? His own reputation? Or something much deeper that the world isn't ready to hear? Whatever the answer is, one thing is clear, the truth is coming. And when it does, not everyone will come out clean. If the roles were reversed, if a male producer had made false accusations against a female actor, there would be outrage. A media firestorm. Calls for justice echoing through every outlet, every platform. But in this case, crickets, because the alleged victims are men, and suddenly the stakes seem lower. The headlines are quieter. The industry is more comfortable, sweeping the truth under the rug, as if the absence of vulnerability makes the injustice less severe. And yet, here we are, with careers on the line, reputations smeared, and one man at the center of it all who could change everything with a single sentence, Hugh Jackman. He has the power, the platform, the respect of millions. He could step forward, shine a light on the truth, set the record straight, but instead, he stays in the shadows. His silence, deafening. And more damning than ever, according to insiders, Jackman knows exactly what's at stake. He's been fully briefed on the legal threats, including from Baldoni's team. He's aware that if this goes to trial, he will be deposed. There's no hiding from it. The only question now is whether he's prepared to speak under oath. So, why is he so committed to defending Blake Lively? Is it loyalty, gratitude for Ryan Reynolds standing by him through his divorce? Or is it something deeper, something hidden that only he and Reynolds truly understand? Some whisper that Jackman knows more than he's letting on, that there may be elements to Lively's story, details the public hasn't seen, that have convinced him to stay in her corner. But if that's true, where's the evidence? Because that's the problem. There isn't any. Blake Lively's team has struggled to present hard proof. In a high-stakes legal war like this one, emotions only go so far. The court and the public demand facts, testimonies, documents, consistency. And right now, her case is running on fumes. The intimacy coordinator's notes reveal that Lively refused to meet with them, raising serious questions about her commitment to safety and communication during filming. Meanwhile, Baldoni's legal team has begun pushing back, presenting counter-evidence and calling into question the entire foundation of her claims. What once looked like a clear-cut case of harassment has become a murky battleground of he said, she said, and Lively's side is losing ground. Public support, once overwhelmingly in her favor, is now fractured. Social media is no longer filled with unconditional support. It's filled with doubt. Fans who once championed Lively's bravery are now asking the hard questions. If the story is solid, where are the witnesses? If the accusations are true, why aren't more people stepping forward? And if Hugh Jackman believes her so strongly, why hasn't he spoken publicly? The shift in narrative is undeniable. Even the press, once eager to publish puff pieces painting Lively as a wronged woman, is starting to backpedal. PR fluff is being called out for what it is, an attempt to maintain a facade as the truth threatens to break through. And through it all, Baldoni remains. Wounded, but standing. His name dragged through the mud. His character was questioned. Yet more and more he's being seen not as the villain, but as the victim. A man bullied, falsely accused, nearly broken. All for a narrative that's beginning to collapse under its own weight? Yes, Jackman may still testify, and yes, he may truly believe in Lively's innocence. But if his only contribution is quiet allegiance behind closed doors, it won't be enough. Because in Hollywood, silence is complicity. And the truth doesn't need whisper campaigns. It needs a voice. And right now, the world is waiting to see who will finally speak.